Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
So after an unexpected week off due to weather and other obligations, we are back. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing way better this week than last week, I'll say that.
Ooh, that was rough, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had to dig myself out a little bit, you know?
Yeah, we got some good snow.
Yes, we did.
You know, it's odd. Normally we get a snowstorm and I'm like super mad about it.
Yeah?
But this year I was kind of like, we were due.
Yeah, right.
Like I ain't even that mad. Like it was supposed to happen.
That's funny.
It just took so long to get here that I was like,
Well, yeah, it was kind of like that. It was,
I mean, don't get me wrong, it sucked, right? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, you know, I had to dig myself out and then dig my parents out, you know, so it's always
it's what happens when you live in Michigan, right? Like,
that's for sure.
So, but like I said, it was just like, we were due, but
right.
It happened at the worst possible time.
Yes, because we had a show to do and we couldn't get that done.
It's like, gonna have to do all this stuff. Got to work in,
right.
All that real life shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It just compiled. And we're like, oh, we could record this day or this day. It's like, nope.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, ooh, Sunday we can do it. And nope.
You and your busy schedule.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But here we are. So this week we got 2 episodes of The Bad Batch to talk about. And I gotta say, not exactly what I was kind of hoping for when I was like, oh, well, we can do a double shot, right? Like, not as strong as I would have hoped.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll agree with you there.
I feel like we're hitting the mid-season lull a little early.
Yeah.
And I think the way I feel like the reason I feel like this is because we're coming off of Faster.
Okay.
Because Faster, like, you know, back watching the Clone Wars, you had these episodes that were one-offs and, you know, they kind of segued and had like a new element they introduced that was fun, but it was really different from what you were doing. And Faster felt that way.
Right.
You know, with the racing and that racing being kind of the focus of the episodes. Like,
yeah, so
this is different.
So that, you know, we talked about it then. That one had a lot of callbacks to episode 1, had that feel to it, you know.
Right.
Lots on the line, got to win the race, blah, 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 you know, all that. And it was like, go ahead.
But you think about the first 3 episodes of the season, and then you get to that feels like that little bit of a break.
Yeah.
We're going to get back into it.
Right.
And then we get Entombed.
Yes.
So season 2, episode 6, Entombed. This was not a strong one for me.
It was not a strong one. No. Now, okay, go ahead. Take it the direction you want to, but I got a couple things.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This felt like a Disney half-assed attempt to advertise that Indiana Jones is coming out. Like,
nice.
I mean, even down to the music, my friend.
Yeah.
There are times where the music really, really, really hinted Indiana Jones.
Right.
I'm like, wow, what are they doing here? This feels off.
Yeah.
It's a story that feels like it could have been done right. I feel like this was a whiff.
Yes. Totally a whiff, for sure.
And I will say, like, I think I'm going to step on something you're going to say based on a mini conversation we had prior.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Like, I feel like I'm going to step on you a little bit here, but I felt like we had the Bad Batch bumbling around for 20 minutes.
Yes. That is for sure.
Like slapsticky bumbling around.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. So,
Yeah.
This is our it's not our introduction, but it's our first real good look that we get of Fee, right? And, we didn't know what this character was going to be, Now I think we got an idea. I gotta be honest, I'm not real crazy about the character, because it feels to me like they're trying to make almost like a copy of like a Han Solo type attitude, very braggadocious and very, I got all the answers, and, you haphazardly make your way through whatever you got to make through, and it just felt too forced in that direction to me. You know what I mean?
Here, I'll say something that's probably going to be a little unpopular, but hey, whatever. This feels like a sad attempt to try and get the Dr. Aphra crowd that are really hardcore into Dr. Aphra into the rest of this stuff.
Got so Dr. Aphra is like a adventurer type character, yeah?
Like an archaeologist.
Okay, yeah.
I gave the first couple of books a shot, and I could never get into it.
Gotcha.
Because it always felt like, it's not my kind of story.
Right.
I once again, this is, I gotta emphasize, we don't all love the same Star Wars stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And mad respect to Star Wars fans that love Dr. Aphra.
Absolutely. Cool. That's their
Enjoy
thing.
Star
Right.
Wars your way. This is what it's about. It's about fun.
Yep.
Enjoying it your way. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. And this, like I said, just felt like one of those attempts to kind of bring that kind of story into the rest of it.
Right.
But not executed in the best way. You didn't merge worlds.
Right.
And I think they actually did a disservice to both worlds
Okay.
in trying to merge them.
Huh.
And a lot of it was the kind of like trying to keep some of the humorous stuff from the Bad Batch and merge it with all the, like, you got one that's super serious and one that's like serious but funny, and you just made it like this kind of 20-some minute comedy show.
Right.
And it just didn't work out. Like it kind of hurt both.
Yeah. I hear you. It's man. Okay. Let's I'm gonna dissect a little bit here, right? So Fee likes telling stories, right? Outlandish stories that, clones comment on. She tells this story different every time she tells it, right?
Right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and like expand on it. Yeah, Fee's full of shit.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. But so and then it's like she's got all the answers too. It's like, what could this be? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's like that type of attitude. It's like, well, okay.
Well, yeah, and she always says, "I'll tell you what it is" after they screwed up the first time.
Right. Exactly. Now, on the other hand, yeah, this is kind of where I'm, coming from with the fumbles their way through it. They decode the room lock thing or whatever, or do it wrong the first time, and that boulder falls, but she saves Wrecker. And that's part of where I'm kind of getting at the Bad Batch is kind of like wandering around here like way out of their element almost. These guys are like the elite fighting force, and she's the one who's got to save Wrecker. Kind of weird. And then later on, again, Hunter, who's like the leader, and you get the feeling like he's going to be super cautious about stuff, falls for a trap. And again, she saves him and has to pull him back up out of the abyss, you know. And it's like, it's all well and good, but it's like, man, it's pushing really hard with this character here, you know.
Right. And Hunter is like the hard part about that is Hunter is the character that if you're sitting there watching him and he's looking forward and someone's sneaking up behind him, he's going to be the one that turns around and throws the knife through the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's that aware.
Yes.
Probably the wrong character to execute that scene with.
Right.
If you do it with Wrecker or Tech or something like that, you know, makes sense. But Hunter?
Yeah, I know. And then you know, she calls him what, bandana?
Yeah.
That was a very Sid-like comment, you know, because Sid's got her names for everybody, you know. Tech, she calls goggles and all that. It's like, come on. There just didn't seem to be, I don't know. This character wasn't, I don't know what the right word is. Didn't do a lot for me, I'll say that. But
I think part of it too is, one, you have a comedian. Or comedic actress, right?
Right.
And Wanda Sykes doing this role.
Right.
And none of the funny shit happens to her.
True.
It all happens to everyone else.
Yes.
And I get that you got the wisecracking coming from B, but like, I don't know. It felt off.
It did feel off. The other part is, you know, you have, yes, she's young, but you have Omega, right? Who is just hanging on every word of Fee's. And it's like, by this time, Omega's seen some stuff with the Bad Batch, you know? She's like...
Apparently not, because she just runs into everything now.
Exactly.
You know, like, Omega is not making any gains here.
Right.
Just keeps reverting back to bad habits.
Yes. Yeah, it's a little... a little frustrating sometimes. Yeah. I feel... I don't know. You made a comment earlier that, you know, the Bad Batch is just basically letting Omega do whatever she wants to do. And it kind of feels that way, you know? It's almost like, okay, you know, give the kid whatever she wants, you know? It's like, Hunter
right,
being the leader, the you know, he's the one who needs to say, look, no, we're not doing this, you know? There needs to be a little bit of that in there too, you know?
But like, Omega's a character that made gains last season, right? There was some growing up.
Oh yeah.
But that's gone.
Yes. It seems like it's reverted backwards a little bit, you know,
right.
her progress.
Now she can fight a little bit.
Right.
But she's still making foolish decisions.
Yeah.
Like just running forward. Like, okay, rule number 1. When you find a place that has hidden treasure, don't run forward.
Yes, exactly.
There are traps.
Yes, always traps.
Always a trap.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, ancient ruins. Yeah, I'm sure they just like let you waltz on in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you bring up
I'm
another...
from the Tomb Raider generation, man. There's always puzzles and traps.
Exactly. But you bring up another good point, right? Ancient artifacts. They bring up these the characters on the wall, whatever they call them, over 1,000 years old, right? That's what Tech says.
Mm-hmm.
Fee says much older. Okay, you've piqued my interest. You get that old in the Star Wars lore. Okay, cool. What are we talking here? It's like that whole bit of the story seems to have gotten lost in all this. You know, they awaken this giant mechanical whatever, you know, apparently the thing that destroyed the planet. And
right.
Apparently it seems to like go after technology. And yes, you took it down, you destroyed it, right? You had to get the Hardla Mountain, and then it was the key for this thing, and you ended up having to put it back in, and then for some reason this time when you put it back in, it melts. I don't get it. But you destroy it, it falls over, and then you just walk out of it. It's like, if it's that ancient, that old, wouldn't you explore it now after you're taking it out? I mean, there could be...
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, yeah, I guess, that thing can't hurt the planet anymore. Great. But what was it? Where'd it come from? Try and figure that stuff out. Because that kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff that would interest me as a Star Wars fan.
Well, I mean, it immediately did when she's like, oh, much older.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what is this? Is like ricotta? Like,
yeah. I just...
Like, are we doing something like that? Like,
it just seems like there was a lot of lost opportunities. You know what I mean? I just, I can separate, my misgivings of the Fee character if, the other parts of the story are good, and it's like, you had somewhere to go and make it really good, but then you didn't. So, I don't know. A little disappointed there.
Yeah, I mean, what are we looking at? Like a 16-episode season, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So, let me just pull this up while I'm talking. I think it was 16, but I'm gonna go ahead and look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like 16 episodes or something like that. Normally, you have this kind of thing like mid-season, right? Like, you're gonna have a break.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Right. You have like an
arc. Set yourself up for the big finale.
Right.
We're on episode 5.
Yeah.
You're not even letting yourself get rolling, and you're doing these one-off, have no impact on your story episodes.
Yeah.
And yes, it looks like 16 episodes.
Okay.
Which lines up with season 1.
Right.
So, yeah, 16 episodes. Episode 5. So already episode 4, you're already veering off that path.
Yeah.
And I thought that was weird. Like, your opening 3, I mean, hell, at the Clone Wars, your opening 3 was like the start of the season.
Absolutely.
So you didn't go from like malevolence to Sunny Day in the Void. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You just didn't make that jump.
Yeah.
We're making that jump right now.
That is true. And for anyone who doesn't know, you should definitely go back and check out those Clone Wars episodes, because they are both unique in their own ways, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about.
And I don't say that with Matt. Like, all of this stuff, and even this, it's gonna have its place.
Yeah, totally.
But timing is everything.
Oh yeah.
You open up, you got this Dooku war chest thing, right? They're trying to get money. They're trying to do stuff. And then it's like, okay, then we go to Crosshair. All right. They still haven't figured out how they're going to get money.
Right.
And then you do 2 episodes where they're still looking for money, but they haven't got any.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's rough.
It is rough. That's for sure.
Rough. So not my favorite.
No. I think it had potential to be really good.
Oh yeah, and that potential that's there, and the little bits that happened that I was like really intrigued by, like, I'm curious about this, like this mechanical monstrosity.
Right.
This is something that could still be explored.
Yeah.
It's a thread they created that, like, it really interests me. Like, what being or group of beings created this, and for what? For what purpose?
Exactly.
Because if this Heart of the Mountain thing that you just grabbed, all it does is activate that, what was its value?
Right.
What was its value outside of that? Like, okay, if you let this thing just destroy the planet to take it, What did that do for you?
Right. Nothing.
That's what I got out of it. Like, it's just a rod that activates this thing.
Yep.
And if you put it back, it deactivates the thing.
Yeah, that's the other part that was a little weird, was why is the heart of the mountain, this stone, they kept calling it, this gem or whatever, why did the legend get formed around that? Because it's like, if that's what you're going to have, make a legend about that, and that's what people are going to be chasing after, then yeah, you're going to go in there and activate the thing. Why? I don't understand. Why would you do that? And if the thing was sitting there dormant,
To me, it felt like an episode of Impractical Jokers, and they're like looking at the screen going, they took it out.
yeah, exactly.
Like it felt that bad because you had no reason why this thing is any good, why
Right.
it's valuable.
Right.
Like, is it the material? Is it the material because it's good for, it's like some weapons grade stuff, or is it just good for making shiny things like jewelry or whatever? Or
Yeah,
there was no reason. Why is this stone valuable?
right.
And why is it so valuable that if you pull it out of this little chamber here, it makes this Godzilla looking thing that goes destroying shit?
Right.
No reason.
Yeah.
It was totally, this was a, but this episode had a MacGuffin, but no reason for the MacGuffin to distract from anything, because there was nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This episode had its problems, that's for sure. I feel like the potential for this episode, where they could have explored further, they just neglected and focused on the things that really, kind of irritated me about a character. So I don't know. I hope that, when we see more of Fee, which I'm sure we're going to, I hope the character gets fleshed out a little better and isn't always like this. I don't know. Because it almost seems like the artifact thing was a throwaway. Like you were talking about, the MacGuffin is nothing, right?
Right.
And at the end, here we are talking about a chalice. It's like, wait a minute, you guys gonna go searching for the Holy Grail now? I just,
Oh, oh my God, you thought that too?
yeah. Yes, that was my thought, and I thought, no, please no. But
Yeah, what's even worse is like, oh, the chalice of this. I just thought of Ian McKellen saying like, oh, you think the Grail's a cup?
right. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be thinking of Dan Brown stuff when I'm watching Star Wars.
Exactly.
I should be thinking of Star Wars when watching Dan Brown stuff, because they have Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Absolutely. Angels and Demons, in case you're curious. Yes.
And the first reference was to the Da Vinci Code.
Right.
All right. So our next episode, season 2, episode 6, Tribe. I like this episode.
Yeah, it was good.
Like I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Honestly, probably my favorite episode of the season so far. The only one that I would put up there against it would be the Solitary Clone, so episode 3.
Okay.
Because that Crosshair episode was super strong. But this one, I enjoyed it. Like, we went to Kashyyyk. We got rid of one of my pet peeves.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about here.
Yeah, we don't have to stun everyone.
Well, okay. So what are your thoughts on this now? Because I'm almost a little irritated by this.
I'm hoping now, if they go the route that maybe I think they're going. And we talked about before. We rationalized this. They use that against their clone brothers.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Except for in this episode, because,
Shit.
yeah, along with the Trandoshans, there were clones. So it's like,
Were they clones?
Yeah. You got to listen for the voice, man.
It was D. Bradley Baker?
Oh, yeah.
It's over then. They just blew everything up.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm irritated.
Right.
Unless they just let it go from here on out. Unless they finally listened to everyone and said, look, this is dumb. It's Star Wars, not Star Laser Tag.
Okay.
Like,
I'm with you there, except for the fact that, say something about it.
Well, here's the thing. If it was for some, like, trying to be altruistic reason, like, oh, we got to just stun. Like, we can't be killing. It's a kid's show. That's new, first off.
Right.
They're going to ignore it. If it was for some, like, self-inflicted altruistic reason, they're going to ignore it. That's just the way it is. And I think that's what happened. Like, now that you put it that way, I didn't even think about the fact there were clones here.
Yeah. Totally.
Like, if they would have been like, blast a Trandoshan, stun a clone, I'd have been like, oh, yep, they just can't bring themselves to kill a clone.
That would have made sense. That
would have made tons of sense.
I could have gotten on board with it, even if I didn't like it.
No, this time they're just like, zap, 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 zap.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, funny. Here I was walking myself off the ledge, and you just pushed me right back to it.
Sorry.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm just really not getting the decisions here. I got some thoughts that I won't. I won't, boys.
Okay.
Just because, like, just not gonna do it. Like, just some stuff that would, like, yeah, I'm gonna piss people off if I say so.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So, but other than that, it was a really good episode. The way they dealt with the Wookiees and, what was it, Genji, right?
Yeah, Gunji.
Gunji.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really well done.
Yes, but again, here we have Omega. You and Echo stay with the ship. Guard the ship.
Just running off.
Yeah. Echo's like, all right, I'm going to go get the ship ready to roll on out of here because we won't be long. She hears something. Oh, got to go check that out in this place that feels strange and weird. I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, what are you thinking, kid?
Like this place feels strange, weird. Like, I don't like it here.
Yeah.
There's random noises. Well, that sounds bad. I should go look and see what it is.
Right. I mean,
stupid.
Don't get me wrong. They saved a Jedi. Excellent. Awesome. But
here's what I think. Dude, they are setting Omega up to be force sensitive.
Oh, totally. I mean, all the way down to the kneeling at the tree and trying to talk to the tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
Something feels off.
Right. Yes.
Hear a noise? That's what it is.
Yep.
Someone's in trouble.
As though a million voices all called out at once.
Yeah.
I just,
See, I'll tell you what, when Obi-Wan said that and suddenly silenced, yeah, don't go there. If they all called out at once and suddenly went silent, that's bad.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take a genius.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Oh, still full steam ahead.
Yeah.
See, I'll rip on the original trilogy too.
Sure.
I heard that one was like, that just sounds like a bad idea. Why would you go there?
Yeah. In hindsight, you say that, but, first time around on that movie, you're just learning about the Force and stuff. So, you know.
Yeah, because I was a kid. That's why.
Yeah. Well,
As an adult, I would have been like, okay, if you're in a place and you hear tons of people scream, and then all of a sudden they stop screaming, go the other way.
right.
There's a reason they stop screaming. You don't want to go there. It's bad. Just saying. As a kid, yeah, you got like dumb ideas like, yeah, you should go see if you can help them. No, they went silent.
Yes.
How'd you like the look of Kashyyyk?
Reminded me a lot of the holiday special. The you know, the village.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, okay. I'm cool with it though. That's good. You know.
Yeah, it did one thing that I was like, it's a little different than the way, especially the expanded universe went.
Uh-huh.
Like the expanded universe really went the way of like a lot of these villages and stuff were built upwards
Right.
into the trees.
Yes.
And this stuff was all low to the ground.
Yeah.
I think that was a decision not to make them too similar to the Ewoks.
Yeah. But I mean, they kind of had that look in episode 3, you know, where you know, at least from that platform that Yoda was observing the battle from and all that.
Yeah, but I think episode 3 showed a blend.
Yeah, totally.
They were up in the trees and they were down.
Right.
And I guess this did too. It kind of maintained that a little bit.
Yeah.
But the up in the trees here was like very minimal. Like
right.
quarter to a halfway up, like you got a cabin in the Smokies, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it would be a quarter up because, you know, I don't think we even got close to seeing the tops of those trees. I think they were pretty big trees.
No.
But, you know, I will say I did like the way, you know, the Wookiees commune with the forest and all that. Okay, you know, talking to the trees and the trees are talking back. And okay. But it's, yes,
no,
Wookiees
I honestly thought that was beautiful. It was a very tribal,
right. The
very,
Wookiees
like,
are
native, like
at one with their planet kind of thing. Yes.
yeah,
I like that. That's good.
with the earth, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's definitely something to be said for that, you know.
and that was something that was explored in the expanded universe.
Right.
The Wookiees were very in tune with Kashyyyk,
Yes.
and I did like that. I thought that was fabulous, the way they brought that in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really felt like they utilized the higher ends of the trees. And even with, you know, talk about episode 3, I mean, they're swinging in on vines, right? Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
and I think that's what sparked a lot of the EU stuff is like they're swinging in on that because this is how they move from way up there. You know, they didn't just swing in on vines because it's like, oh, this will work for this battle. No, this is something they did on the regular.
Right.
This is how you move from one place to another.
Yeah. You know, the quote unquote trees plan, you know, I thought was decent. That was good.
Yep.
With the whatever spider lizard things or whatever they are, you know, coming to take out the Trandoshans. And you know, that was one of those things though, where it was like that whole deal when they were at the beginning of the show, when they go through that area and they're like, you know, don't show them any harm or ill intent or anything. And, you know, leave them alone. They'll leave you alone. And it's like, okay, we're coming back to these creatures for something. You know what I'm saying? I kind of knew right then and there. It's like, yep, we're going to be seeing these creatures again.
Oh, and I will say, I thought that was a master stroke at the end when they turn to him and he, you know, closes down his lightsaber.
Oh, right. Inside the
I
ring
mean
of
you
fire.
no harm.
Yeah.
So that made like what he said in the beginning more than just him using the force to push them away.
Right.
Because they kind of like led to that he like touched her mind, like, okay, if you mean no harm to them, they're not going to attack because
Yeah.
I'm going to help. And then look, it seemed like he helped. Like he used that to guide them away.
Yeah.
After the end of the episode, it's like, oh, he didn't do that. It wasn't him guiding them away. It was just like an extra nudge. Like, we truly do mean you no harm.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I mean,
so he was right in saying, like, if you mean them no harm, they have no problem with you.
yeah. And it kind of goes along with his, you know, does he know Kashyyyk? And it's like, in his dreams, he knows Kashyyyk, you know?
Right.
That statement. I will say that kind of stuff in this episode hit a lot better than a lot of the stuff in the prior episode.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That for sure. You know, I liked it. I still feel like there was some what do you call it? I don't know. I call it a miscue or just a slight absence of logic, I guess. You know, I still feel like the Empire has forces on the ground here at Kashyyyk. Let's leave the Jedi here. That's a little weird to me. Now, yes, he's with his own people, but
I think they covered it well enough with just them saying, like, he's a Jedi. He's not safe anywhere.
Yeah, which agreed. But I don't know that taking him to an occupied planet is going to be the right move, you know?
Yeah, but what planets do you go to?
Well, I mean, the one they hang out on seems to be pretty Empire free for the moment.
No, it's not.
No?
No. Pretty sure you saw stormtroopers on that planet at one point in the earlier part of the show.
Huh.
Just their grip wasn't strong.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Like one of those when they were like going through the alley things, like they're there, but they're not.
I mean, if they're there, you would think that the Bad Batch would have to be a lot more inconspicuous, you know?
No, but I think it's one of those situations where they're there, but they're not tightening their grip. Like the local government's still in charge. Like,
okay.
I think it's one of those.
All right. Well,
like they have a presence, but it's not like
yeah,
under control.
The other part that bugged me a little bit was the whole, you know, Empire's coming this way, and Hunter's like, all right, we're gonna help you, you know? And it's like,
right.
Wait a minute, why don't you guys just go? We'll hide the kid. You know, we can deny, and just, yeah, haven't seen a kid, don't know what you're talking about. Clones? Got no idea. You know? And then, you know, hopefully they just pass them on by, you know, because I'm sure they're aware of them, you know?
Well, I don't know if that would have necessarily worked.
It might not have.
Yeah, okay, fine.
It might not have, but it might have, you know.
Because
one thing's for sure.
Head Trandoshan there was like, yeah, raise the forest.
Yeah. Well, you know, they know for sure they're there now, or they were there. That's the thing, is they helped them out. I'm sure somebody with a larger force in the Empire knows that the Bad Batch was there now at some point. I mean, there's all kinds of clones. They were fighting. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they would see. They did bring that up. The one clone said, you know, we need to contact who was it?
Imperial Command.
Imperial Command, that's it. And, you know, the head Trandoshan dude looked like Grover. He did a little bit. You got to
Holy shit.
So,
I
so
almost had beer through my nose just pointing that out. Like, I did not even consider him looking like
a
Grover
little bit like
until
Grover.
you said it.
Yep.
It's like, man, I wonder if Grover had a flat face and a short nose.
It's just
Nailed it.
Yep. So,
Ah,
but yeah, they'll they can play that off when he says, we're not alerting anybody until, I can get the Jedi, or whatever. It's like, okay, but now you're spider food, so.
well, let's talk about his tactics here.
Okay.
I got a flamethrower.
Yeah, do we?
And my tactic when I'm going to fight you is I'm going to close myself off in this ring of fire.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Well, sorry, sir, but you deserve to die
Right.
because you're stupid.
Yes. That just hear me out a little bit. I'm just this flamethrower looked like a short, stubby little version of a flamethrower you would see in World War II. Had the little flame in front of the nozzle and everything. I was like, really? This is Star Wars. Why don't you have a couple like electrodes and a little spark going between them? Something like that for your ignition or something. I mean, it was like, I get flamethrowers. Even the tank had flamethrower. It's a forest planet, right? So flames bad. Got it. I get the whole idea there, but it's like, man, let's I don't know. Let's make it a little more Star Warsy.
Yeah, you want to know my reaction to that? Like, it wouldn't be safe for work. Like, just.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, my reaction was like, it's Star Wars, like you said. And I'm watching it. I was like, this fucking flamethrower has a pilot light.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
exactly right.
like, it's exactly what I thought. I was like, that's weird. Like, I get what you're going for. You want everyone to, like, kind of recognize what they're looking at. But
yeah, but that's almost, it's almost like we have to show you what you know from the real world in order for you to understand this.
Okay.
It's like, no, we're not stupid.
okay, and like my reaction to it got even worse when it got cut in half.
Okay.
Because if it is designed like that, where it needs the little pilot light in front,
All that molten lightsaber goo, it wouldn't have cut off. Yeah, I know.
yeah, when he cut that in half, it would have blew up
Yes.
like bad.
Yes.
Like you just covered homeboy in napalm.
Yes. Exactly.
So, don't believe me. There's plenty of it's fiction, but fiction based on fact, how those things react when they get blowed up.
Yes.
Usually the guy's on fire running in circles,
Right.
dying a horrible death.
Yeah.
Because that guy had big tanks on his back.
Right. The guy with the big tanks on his back would be a target a lot of times. Yes. So yes, I'm with you there. And okay, as far as that goes, my suspension of disbelief. Okay, maybe that doesn't work that way because it's Star Wars. But then don't put a flame in front of it. Like I said,
Right.
Little electrodes with a spark. I would get that, right? Little tiny lightsaber blade between two electrodes or something, that it would make sense. I just, and okay. And the other thing, I don't know.
Here's the thing. It looked cool.
Sure. It looked cool.
It does look cool.
It looked a little less Star Wars though. But, and I understand there's precedent for this and everything. I know, I get it, but man, all the Wookiees and their bowcasters. It's like, it's a Chewie thing, man. Come on. I don't know. A lot of bowcasters.
Well, the bowcaster was a Kashyyyk weapon.
Yeah.
It was a Chewie thing because there were no other Wookiees.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm not with you on that one. Like, The fact that they have bowcasters doesn't bother me.
It's forgivable. I get it, but it's almost, I don't know. Like I said, it's forgivable. It's not bad. It's one of those things.
You know where that comes from, though?
What's that?
And it comes from watching other fantasy, sci-fi, whatever movies, right? Your like champion from your place always has a different weapon than everyone else.
Right.
And that's what makes them the champion, right? Like, and you feel like Chewie's one of those champions of Kashyyyk because he's still there.
Right.
Right. So that's, I think, where you're kind of getting like, Chewie should have the bowcaster, not everyone else. And it shouldn't be not everyone else, but your elite should have it. Everyone else should have something else.
Right.
Because
that would make sense.
Because Chewie's there and he's survived this long, he should be on a pedestal, right? Like,
yeah,
he's one of your elite fighters. And they even established that with Chewie being there in episode 3.
Yep.
You know, he's one of these guys. He's that good.
Right.
So
and
that's why he's still alive.
The whole bowcaster thing, I just gotta say, they kind of went the other way with it in The Force Awakens. You know, Han, hey, can I try that? You know,
right?
It's like, wait a minute, you guys been hanging out for how long? And you've never tried his weapon? Come on, you know, I'm just.
You know what though? Like with
I'm
Han,
nitpicking.
I buy it.
Really?
Yeah, because Han likes his stuff. Like Han's one of those guys. Like he loves the Falcon.
Yeah.
He could get any other ship. He wants the Falcon.
Right.
He likes his stuff.
Well, sure.
But like, it got tense, so he's like, "Hey, can I try that?" Then he usually he's like, "Whoa,
I like this." Yeah.
I thought that. I'm sorry. Like, I get what you're saying, but I did love that scene.
Sure, it was funny. It made me smile. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's one of those things where
I think it was just great because we didn't know Harrison Ford could laugh anymore.
Yeah, true.
And he did something funny. It's like, whoa, is Harrison Ford doing something funny? Look at that.
Right.
We thought this guy was the ultimate curmudgeon.
I mean, if it's a common weapon like they're portraying in the Bad Batch, you'd have just thought it wouldn't have been a big deal for Han to have tried it by now.
Don't disagree. I
That's
don't
all.
disagree. And I think that was a misstep.
Right.
Like it should have been what was the Zeb's people? Lestat or something like that.
Lasat, yes.
Lestat. No,
Lestat.
Lestat was a vampire. Lestat was his people.
Yes. Wasn't that Tom Cruise or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're digging deep today, man.
Yeah, I know.
All the young people are like, what the hell are they talking about?
I know. Listen to you, all the young people. Wow.
Hey, I've crossed the threshold. I've crossed the threshold. You know how I know I crossed it?
How's that?
I was talking today about Eddie Murphy at work.
Uh-huh.
And 2 of the guys I work with had no idea who the hell I was talking about.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, you don't know Eddie Murphy?
Wow.
No. I'm like, okay, hold on. I did figure out how they do know Eddie Murphy. And this is the only way they know Eddie Murphy.
Shrek?
He's Donkey in Shrek.
Oh my God.
Oh, Donkey? Yes.
Wow. Okay.
But this guy used to be really funny.
Yeah. Exactly. Before he did Shrek. Yes.
And they're like, what are you talking about? Donkey was really funny. I was like, no. This guy used to be really funny.
Dude. These guys, the people you're talking about would probably be watching Raw with their mouth agape.
Oh, I told him to go watch it, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we've gone down several rabbit holes here.
Yeah. Yeah, but I told him to go watch Delirious, not Raw.
Okay.
First one, you got to start. with the beginning.
Sure.
And Delirious was way worse than Raw.
Right.
I was like, wait till you get to Mr. T. It's really great. Oh, I just got in trouble for that one.
Oh, boy.
But I don't care. If you don't think Eddie Murphy's funny, you're not my peoples.
Right. There's no denying he's hilarious.
But, yeah. Where was I going with that?
I don't
Got
know.
totally derailed.
Right. But overall, it was a good episode. There was things I
Yes.
liked about it. There was things that made me, twist my face a little bit, scrunch it up like, really? But nothing big. I just hope that, I'm judging both episodes now as a whole since we're doing both this, episode of ours. I hope they don't get lost in some of this. Don't lose the plot with this, It's like,
Well,
yeah,
it kind of makes it like, I know you're bunching it up like the 2 episodes we're talking about right now,
yeah,
but I'll venture further and say the 3 episodes of this last bit, the Bad Batch seems to lack purpose.
right,
They don't seem to have a purpose because they're setting out to get money to continue doing what they're doing, but they're never getting any money, but yet they're continuing. It's weird.
it is weird. Yeah,
So,
they got to get a win every now and then
yeah.
in order to carry on, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
That all that stuff has been established as a problem in this show. Like,
Yeah.
where are we going to get fuel to continue on? Like,
Right. But instead,
So-
we're going to make a detour to Kashyyyk, and then,
oh yeah, they're traveling all over the damn galaxy and they're not succeeding at anything.
exactly.
So, understand how they're fueling their ship,
Right.
how they're continuing on. Like, it seems like if this is the case, we got to be heading to a breaking point here where something has to succeed or else. Like, if that becomes a part of the plot,
Yeah.
we're like, look, we've really been screwing up here. We're getting to a point where, yeah, we literally can't stop. We're going to be floating in space and dying.
Right.
Like,
yeah. If we were to actually see something like that, okay. I mean, they've kind of set us up for that. It makes sense.
Right.
But
well, I'm looking at next week's episode title,
yeah.
and I don't think they're going to cover that
Oh, okay. Why is that?
because it's called the Clone Conspiracy.
Oh,
So,
okay. The Clone Conspiracy.
pretty sure we're entering a 4th storyline in as many episodes.
Yeah, right. Well, for some reason, I'm getting Rex vibes out of that title. You think maybe?
What?
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Judging by the trailers we saw, yeah, we're gonna see Rex.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping it I'm hoping it picks up from here. And I think they have potential to, so we'll just have to wait and see. And
Oh, I agree, and I think, like I said, I think Entombed was a giant misstep.
right?
It's my opinion, not yours. Don't get mad at me.
Well, I'm going to concur, so
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like it's our opinion.
yes.
You can have your own. You're entitled to that.
Right.
This is how we feel. Tribe, I liked. I thought it was a step back in the right direction. It was a good story. I really enjoyed it. It was a good segue episode,
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
even though it was the 3rd episode of segues.
Yes.
Beside the point, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to have a segue episode, this one was great. You still had the core of what makes your main characters who they are.
Right.
And it still showed growth for them.
Yeah, and
especially Hunter at the end, right? He's talking about like they're just kids.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can have a world without war, like or a galaxy without war. Like that's a different look for a clone. So there was some growth there, and yeah, it's.
I did get the vibes from Hunter at the end there that he's kind of thinking, man, maybe I should just like
retire,
find a place out in the go be a nerf herder and
yeah, very very like Logan this up.
Yeah, totally.
I'm tired of being a Wolverine.
But yeah, I especially with Omega, right?
Yeah.
Take her with him,
Oh, he's totally trying to be a dad.
Yeah. Be a nerf herder and and
I can't take that word seriously anymore.
I know, it's too funny. But
it's
it
Family Guy that ruined it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't remember the part in Family Guy where
man.
Did you see those? Yeah,
I saw them, but once.
Yeah, where Leia calls it, "You're a scruffy looking nerf herder," and he just like punches her in the face. He's like, "You can't use that word. Only we can use that word."
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and off the rails.
Yes.
Hey, that was funny shit.
It was.
Well, all right. If you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media, @thewarsandmore on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think we've beat this up pretty good.
Yeah, we beat it into the ground.
Yes.
Well, all right. We will talk next week.